Greetings petrolheads, welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. Today we have a Delray Custom here that we are going to restore. And as always I bought the exterior parts before starting the recording, so won't have to worry about that. There's only so many custom parts for this car. Only headlights and taillights, and the rest is, normal. So there's no custom hood, no custom bumpers, anything like that. But it's fine. I very much dislike this color on this car. Oh right, we still have the rims in our inventory, so I'm not gonna sell those yet. So here we go. This is what, I'm pre-recording like crazy. This is still Sunday for me, and I'm going to pre-record even more because I am assuming, first of all, I'm gonna be moving on Tuesday, and I'm assuming that, I'm assuming the worst, which is that I won't have internet for the entire rest of the week from when I'm moving, because we will have to install a new, whatever it's called, a new port, you could say, I think, because the people that lived in that apartment before us didn't have internet. So with that, you're going to get right in here. This guy does not have ABS but a brake pump. So air filter is also a different one. It does have an alternator though. We got the wishbone suspension, so bottom suspension arms, yes. 2 brake drums, 1 servo, 2. Do I have 2 brake shoes now? Or no, it only bought 1, even though I clicked twice. Anyway, yeah, we need 1 4-bar carb. We do not need a cat because catalytic converters are overrated. We have leaf springs, not coil springs. Also something to keep in mind. Man, is there no noise regulation for motorbikes? There's gotta be. Because when you go to a sports car festival or the GTI meeting in Klagenfurt at the Wörthersee, you've probably heard of that, haven't you? Wörthersee Festival. There are so many policemen checking for how loud the cars are, and if it's just 0.1 decibel too loud, they're gonna ban the car or tax him and all that shit. So but apparently that's not the case for motorbikes, it seems, because they're ridiculously loud, always passing by, always annoying and all that, and nobody appears to give a shit. So I'm a little bit annoyed by that fact. So what kind of sway bar do we have? We have the regular... Wait, where even is it? Oh, there it is. Regular sway bar. Front wheel hubs, yes. Fuel filter, pump and tank. No fuel rail, because obviously we do have carbs and no injection system. This has no idler rollers, no ignition coils. I'm asking myself what this is for, because I've never ever had to use this. we got a rear axle knock housing B. That's what you have from this guy. The muffler, the shock absorber B. None of this stuff. No rear wheel hub either, but there we go, rocker arms. Then one of these, one of those, and one of these. 4 rubber bushings. The 2 serpentine belts. 4 small rubber bushings. 2 solid rear drive axles. No solid axle control arms. Well, spark plugs definitely. Then a starter, a steering rack, 2 of those. Then the timing chain. The cover. 2 of those. 16 push rods. Two for each cylinder. And then a water pump with a water pump pulley and 2 wheel up caps. And that should be it. Experience is getting closer to 40,000. It's kinda silly already. Oh, this guy didn't have very much oil at all, and what it did have was very poor quality, so glad it's out. And I've done a little bit of research on injector nozzles for my own car, like not for a Golf 3 TDI, but apparently with some performance injector nozzles, a Mark 6 Golf R, you know, the one with the 260 horsepower, that is able to, by only changing the injector nozzles apparently, produce 430 horsepower and 570 Newton meters. That's crazy. From 260 to 430 horsepower with just changing those things. Like, that's crazy. That's insane. And I'm obviously not gonna go crazy on the power output on my car because, you know, I'm probably not gonna be the only person driving this car, and by that I mean, you know, yeah, it's just flexibility. I allow people to drive my car usually because, you know, it's a Golf diesel, and right now it's not really that far out of the ordinary. 120 horsepower is a nice little boost from 90 horsepower, I admit, but if say I changed the injector nozzles and then it made like 160 horsepower, that would be like, that would result in a car that I wouldn't wanna that I wouldn't wanna let other people drive. Because already with the 120 horsepower it oftentimes can't handle, like the tires oftentimes can't handle the power in first and second gear. So if you add another 30% of power without actually changing the tires, that's a recipe for disaster, and you gotta take good care when you're driving it, and especially when you're setting off. And you know, with a quote-unquote, oh, let's not say a normal car, let's say with a slow car. With a slow car, you can just set off with full throttle and it'll still barely move. Whereas with a car that's got a little bit more grunt, if you and doesn't have traction or stability control, I should add, if you set off with full throttle on one of those cars, like, you're gonna have a decent amount of wheel spin. And many people get surprised by that, and then they make wrong movement and That's how accidents happen. Overconfidence is basically the word for this. So I love to drive a 160 horsepower Golf diesel. It's almost like a Golf GTD. Or how much power does a current Golf GTD actually make? I don't know, I can't remember. I did the research on that car once, but I don't remember the specs. Is it like 180 horsepower, 185, something like that? But yeah, obviously the current generation Golf is much heavier than the Mark III generation Golf, which is why with 160 horsepower I imagine my car would just go like absolutely crazy. Well, not like a proper sports car with 300 plus horsepower, but still, you get the idea. Like it would definitely make overtaking just a walk in the park. And I don't know what that would do to my fuel economy though, because that's currently like the strong point about my car is the fuel economy. Adding that much extra power, I mean, obviously I know that adding power doesn't always have to compromise fuel economy, so I don't know whether or not it does in the case of injector nozzles. I need some more advice on that from somebody who's had experience with it. And I don't want to go too crazy either, because I still want to... I don't want to compromise the longevity of the engine, but then again, it's probably better to have new injector nozzles than to keep the old ones, because if the old ones, obviously nobody, none of the pre-owners ever changed them, I assume. At least I don't have receipts for anything of the sort, so therefore I'm gonna assume they're the same ones that the car came with 19 years ago, and in those 19 years, yeah, there will be some soot on the nozzles, there will be some dirt, and you don't want that stuff in your engine, which is why, you know, fitting new injector nozzles would be a good idea in order to get that stuff out. And I think that would also make the engine live a little bit longer. With that being said, we are almost done with completely dismounting the car already. This has been a pretty quick one so far. Oh, it's been, well, maybe it appears that way because I've been rambling all the time, but yeah, so let's lift it up, get the crank out and take out the block, and then we can start building everything back together, and then we're gonna repaint it. So the fuel filter's in, and yeah, now we're gonna lift it up. Also, how do you guys like the new thumbnail for this series? It is, you know, obviously a picture of an engine bay. And can you guess which car, like the engine bay of which car that is? It's a modern V8, so like obviously there's only so many cars with a modern V8 and the red engine head cover, but still there are a couple. So I mean, there's no prizes for guessing it correctly, but it's still a little bit of fun, isn't it? With that, we are going to get these shock absorbers in here. Man, the new parts look so tasty. Especially the structure on the steering rack. I like that. Alrighty. This side is basically... Oh, I only bought 1 mil muffler. Exhaust. Okay, now I realized the use of the tablet. Now I understand that it does save you quite a bit of time. But to be honest, I could live without it in this game. I could not exist without a computer in real life though. Like, that is just... What even is real life? If you're a YouTuber, then that is real life for you, isn't it? Like, I'm not gonna suggest that I am a YouTuber or anything like that. Kind of, but I'm not really making money out of it yet, so... These rims are glorious also with the white tire walls. I know that it's probably something that... I mean, the white tire walls are probably... Oh, I forgot one of these as well. Are probably always on the tires when you... Like, no matter what rims you put on this car, it's specific for the car, not for the rims. But still, I love it. It's just the retro effect of that is just it's just out of this world. It's just so good, like a classic Cadillac. Macklemore even wrote a song about it. It's the only Macklemore song that I've ever listened to. And for now we are... Yeah, we're gonna make this ready, this side of the suspension, then we're gonna put in the drive shaft and then finish off the engine. already. Also, what I think should be a nice addition if they make Car Mechanic Simulator 2016, like under tray sealing or something like that, so that it doesn't rust. Or you know, access to the interior and to the engine electrics and stuff like that, like the wires that connect from the alternator or something to the interior, to the radio or something like that. You get the idea, like just a little bit more more variation, because I mean the game is fine as is, but you know, if you wanted a little bit more, if you want to go a little bit more in depth than is currently the case, then you know, those would be some decent suggestions. Some nice additions. Additions, not additions. Get this guy in here. Timing chain as well. Okay, and the radiator, and then we're gonna go here to the pistons and just to the other side of this engine. And I think now's the time when we gonna put the exhaust manifold in, then the spark plugs, and then you know the push rods and the rock ramps, and then this side of the engine is done, except for the enginette cover. So with that, we're gonna fit these bolts, and then we only have the intake manifold and then the oil pan left, like intake manifold section I should say, because I can't leave it like this. Obviously the carb, and then the round air filter, and then yeah, there it is. So use this once more. Good. Anything missing? No. Oh, don't close the hood yet. There we go. Now let's paint this guy. found something like this, I think. Yeah. Mint green. So that was the Dead Array custom that... what? The parts were only worth not even 3k? This guy is now worth 68k. I'm gonna sell it. And hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button, it helps out a great deal. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.